Perfect.
All right. We're live, everybody. Welcome to the first James Bond Bitcoin Live 00. And my guest today is Ozzy the BS filter. We've been talking. I've been watching his videos. Ozzy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ozzy, the BS filter. I just started a channel over on YouTube a couple weeks ago. Having a great time. James Bond, absolutely one of my favorite channels. Thank you so much for having me here, bro. And let's get this started.
Why don't you tell us? Let me ask you a question, and we'll just start going from there, just like how we've been doing it. Why don't you tell like the audience how you came into Bitcoin? Because I know you're relatively new. I've been doing this for like since 2013, and I do peer-to-peer trading. So we'll get into that later. But tell everyone how you got in and why you got in, and just your main thoughts about the whole space so far.
Okay. Well, it's actually a crazy story. I had to go to an emergency room for something, and I got admitted. And so I've never really been in a hospital where I had to spend the night. So it was real boring in there. So I was on my phone playing whatever, and then on the news thing, the word Bitcoin came up about a year ago, and so I started just Googling it, and I've been hearing about it for years, and I hadn't heard about it in a while, and then so I started reading about it, and then I spent that whole 3 days I was in the hospital just studying the blockchain, how it works. I didn't even care about the price. I was more interested on how it's been being attacked for so long, and it always gets itself out. It's how strong it is, and I just couldn't wait to get out of the hospital to go buy it. I downloaded the wallet, had everything ready. By the time I got out, most people, their family can't wait to go see them. I made my wife take me to a half-hour drive to an ATM to go buy some Bitcoin. And so I was really excited about that. And then I had to deal with some more issues. So I kind of took a little break, and then I got back in, and I actually bought some more altcoins. And when I got even more into it, I actually built a mine farm in my backyard for Litecoin. And actually,
let me ask you something real quick. How much did you invest, if you don't mind? I know you're pretty open about it anyway.
Yeah.
But I know you're already a self-made man, and you have like a nice house. You have a nice car. I've seen your videos. I've seen your channel.
Thank God.
Tell us how much you put in, and what were you thinking, and what did your wife say when you told her, hey, I bought X amount of Bitcoin for this much?
Well, when I got out of the hospital, and we went to go buy a couple $100 worth, I didn't have any money on me, so I told her, bring me $300 with you. We got to stop by somewhere. So as I went and I bought it, and I'm driving back, she's like, so what did you buy? I'm like, I bought Bitcoin. She goes, yeah, oh, cool. What's that? It's currency. She goes, yeah, cool. Oh, what do you mean currency? What is that? And so I had to spend like a half hour explaining, and she understood nothing, like zero. She goes, so right now you basically wasted $300. I was like, no. But anyway, so it took me a few months to actually get her to understand what it is and what a blockchain is, which I think is one of the most important things we have to do. And then, like I said, we had some other issues, and then we had a meeting, me and her again, and we decided to spend to make it 10 Bitcoin, and we invested $12,000 to make them 10 even. And we have them, by the way, I like to throw this in always, on a Trezor, which is, I think, the most important thing is not to get hacked. Okay, guys, please keep that in mind. So we have it on a hard wallet where, you know, you can go into my Facebook, my Gmail, you can fucking even come to my house. You cannot touch my Bitcoin. My Bitcoin are very safe. So so we invested 12 grand, and then we also invested another 3 grand later on some altcoins. To be specific, Litecoin, Namecoin, and Peercoin.
Right, that sounds great. And you know, Ozzy, I've been watching for a while, and it takes me a while to subscribe. I know that you also are as well, and
I'm
because
so,
I knew you own some gold, I also
yes.
know most. Correct me if I don't know any other gold owners, but I know that if you own gold, most likely you also own a gun. Tell us about the gun I made you show off
Yeah.
to get me to subscribe to you, man.
All right. Well, so you're like the most active guy on my channel, right? So I'm like, dude, you know, hit that subscribe button. So you were like, in due time, and then you'd ask like certain questions that it's weird, like you had to do math to get. And so I do own gold. I actually, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I own 50 ounces of gold and about 1,000 ounces of silver. And no, they're not at home, and they're not at a safe deposit box. Worst two places to keep them. Uh, um, so you were, I was at the car wash washing my car, and it just looked so nice, shiny with the doors up. It just looked really hot. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. And then you said something about, do you own an AR-15? I'm like, wow, where did that come from? You know, I talk about Bitcoin and Donald Trump. That's like my 2 main subjects. And I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah, I do actually. I own a pretty badass one. So you're like, all right, on my car video, you're like, if you have a badass AR-15, I'll subscribe. So I'm like, man, this guy's really making it difficult for his subscription. And I'm like, and I was determined. I'm like, this guy, I got to get this guy to subscribe. And there's a reason why, by the way. I'll get back to that later. Why I've always wanted you to subscribe. Um, uh, uh, so you're like, okay, show me your AR, and I'll hit that subscribe button. I'm like, all right. I got that right after the car wash. I went straight home. I went upstairs, took it out, dusted it off, and I made a video about it. And I actually deleted the video after that. I just wanted you to see it. I don't know why. I just felt it was too soon to put up that video, but I took it down. Actually, you won't find it now. But and then finally, I got you to subscribe. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. You made me work for it. That's awesome. You got to be doing something right when you work for somebody's subscription. You're doing something right.
Well, thank you. I don't subscribe to many. I do subscribe to a few people who are in the chat. I don't know. I see Yellow Fever for you in the chat. I see Thomas Gutierrez in chat. How you doing, guys? These are I definitely subscribe to very few people because I watch a lot, uh, and I watch a lot to get information, like where the market's going, what other people think. I started watching you because you seemed like you were new, that you've been watching,
Mm-hmm.
but now you're making videos because you kind of got a little tired of what's out there. And your story really interested me because
Can
you
I?
already have money, you already made money, and you came in with a different perspective, like totally outside looking in, and you made me laugh. And I watched your video.
Can I elaborate on that? On why I made my channel?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's okay. I'm even gonna name names. So I learned this space watching Tone Vase, Crypto and uh, what's his name, Adam Meister, and Aaron AG, you know, the big, and Andres Ananopoulos, and but anyway, so a lot of these guys, you know, I mean, you watch one video, you see like they know what the fuck they're talking about. They know what's going down. Bitcoinmeister, I mean, I like him as a guy. I mean, I watch his show. I think he's this is gonna sound weird, but I think he's like an adorable little kid, you know, like he's just nice to watch, you know, like I don't consider him the most qualified on there. I think he's more for entertainment Bitcoin type stuff than he is to actually like go and like learn, you know. So I noticed one day he's asking people like what Tone Vase does. He's asking for 0.10 Bitcoin to talk for an hour. And that just crossed the line for me. That was, I'm like, this is enough bullshit. I got to get in here. And the first video I made was about him like not being qualified. You know, I don't insult, I don't degrade anybody. He's a cool guy. I still watch him to this day, every day. But I don't think he is anywhere near qualified to be charging to talk on the phone. You know, and the reason why I show that I make money, or if I made money or whatever, is to show that I got a little bit of qualification. That, you know, like, you know, most of these guys don't even have a house. They're like staying with using somebody's room somewhere. Like none of them are really set up, done. You follow me?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like a lot of the shows I watch, they seem to be shills, and they're what I've learned on YouTube. When I made when I first started YouTube, I made like how-to videos because I basically got laid off due to the financial crisis. Eventually, it hit me eventually, and so here I am at home, and my home is kind of falling apart. Fix my house, and I figured I heard about this thing called YouTube, where if you make a video, you actually get paid because people watch your videos and advertisers will advertise on your videos. That's how I started buying all these Harbor Freight cheap ass tools from China, and you know, I didn't want to pay like $400 a name, so I went to Harbor Freight because I'm only going to use it this once, maybe twice, to fix my house. How I started, but as I, you know,
okay, you're
YouTube,
cutting off really bad.
From the, hello.
Yeah, you're cutting off really bad.
We have some maybe low internet connection, or maybe my computer is kind of old. But what I was trying to say is, actually moved to cryptocurrency, and then I'm watching all these other videos of people. They show a lot, and they are for sale. And I started watching other people, and watching their whole channel history, and they actually talk about this on YouTube, where how to grow your channel. You know, it's good to have some sponsors and get people to pay, talk about their games or talk about their channel. And I begin to realize this is really, it's crazy.
Well, if you watch Crypto O, in about 5 minutes, you'll know that you know, he works for Ethereum. 5 minutes. You can watch any one of his videos. After 5 minutes, you'll know he's a shill for Ethereum. I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to find that out. Yeah, you can watch anybody's show, like Aaron AG. He has his own little system for pumping a crypto, and then he'll own it, and he'll make a show about it, and then he'll raise it up, and then he'll sell it. I mean, everybody's got his own little gig going, and I just kind of you know, I noticed everything, and I just thought I wanted to go in there, and I really, my channel is just to filter out everybody's bullshit, and then all this Trump stuff has been coming up, and it's been taking up most of my videos. but I will be talking more about the other channels and how they're, you know, they're a lot of paid bullshit, as you called it earlier. They're being paid shills.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, it's probably a bad connection here on my end. I'm trying to close down some windows here on my side.
I just had the kids turn off the internet on their devices too. Maybe we can make a stronger signal from here too. And I got two different internets here, and
Okay.
one is for my farm though.
Thing I wanted to talk to you about was that you're from your last video that you're interested in getting some more
Yeah.
coins, and obviously one of them is Bitcoin. What other coins did you have in mind?
Well, we decided.
Obviously new, and you don't see it the way that I see it, and maybe some hardcore Bitcoiners.
Well, let me just tell you what's from the beginning. So me and my wife, we sat and we talked. We've made a nice amount on Bitcoin, so we decided to invest some more. We decided on 25,000. So 5,000 went between Ethereum. Well, actually, 2,000 of that 5,000 went to Ethereum. There's still 3,000 I haven't spent yet, and then 10,000 is going into Bitcoin at the current rate, and then another 10,000 if it drops, if Bitcoin drops. That's exactly the system I'm using right now. But I'm doing research for. I have an extra $3,000 that I want to invest in another coin, but I'm still doing my homework on which one. Ethereum, I don't think I'm going to buy any more than the $2,000 I bought. I think that's more than enough. Only because I don't know if I trust it as much as Bitcoin yet. If I trust it as much as Bitcoin, I would definitely do more. But the Ethereum is basically, I'm doing what the banks are doing, which is always a smart move. Usually a smart move.
Yeah, why don't you tell us on the different altcoins from an outside perspective? Because I know we were talking about it earlier. You have a different perspective on Ethereum and Ripple, and maybe tell us what you think of Litecoin and Dogecoin. And we talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
Just your perspective.
Sure. To me, I learned. I came to this country 40 years ago, flat broke. I even grew up the next 20 years after that broke as fucking shit. So when you grow up broke, you learn everything in the world has a value. Everything. And altcoins, absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of people think they have no value. Personally, I think they do. Now, not long term, 10 years, 15 years, like how I look at Bitcoin and other ones. Like, for example, Dogecoin. They got billions of coins out there. That's insane. That's crazy. Especially if you've ever traded micro caps, like penny stocks that are less than a penny, you learn really quick to buy something and get rid of it as quick as possible, as soon as you can make a profit. So, and I tried that actually. I tried it with Ripple on Poloniex the other day, and I got fucked on that. But that's another story. That's Polonex's fault, not mine. If you can, like right now, we're not in a bubble. Anybody who says we're in a bubble doesn't understand money yet. We are going to be in a bubble, absolutely. But are we in a bubble yet? No. The whole fucking thing put together is not even 50 billion. 50 billion is not even a drop of the bucket. As I said yesterday, the drop will evaporate before it even hits the bucket. It's such a small amount. 50 billion is nothing to be even considered a bubble. But are we going into one? Absolutely. Is everything going to go up? Yes. The altcoins, especially, yes. Why? Because not everybody has $2,000 to go buy a Bitcoin. everybody does have a couple $100 to buy 5,000 doji. So there is value, but you have to use your brain and not emotion. A lot of things I try to teach my kids is do never ever use emotion to buy anything, because the minute you used emotion, you made the wrong decision automatically. You go back in your history and you think about everything that's happened to you in your life, and you made a decision through emotion, it was always the wrong decision. That being said, if you use your mind, you can make a lot of money on these altcoins. I mean, there's tons of money made. Are they legitimate coins? They're legitimate right now. They're there. They're on exchanges. Are they going to stay? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, some of them, like, okay, let's say like I wanted to open a business tomorrow. For example, I wanted to open up a donut shop. There's a Krispy Kreme donut in our city. What am I going to do better than Krispy Kreme to make money? A Krispy Kreme is the king. I'm not going to do it better, so I'm opening to fail. That's how you know it's a scam. When he's opening someone, you're starting a coin that has absolutely no benefit than the other coins. That tells me I'm full of shit. So I stay away from those. Now, when Ethereum came in and they said, "Oh, we got smart contracts," I still don't know what a fucking smart contract is. I'm dying to, but nobody can explain it to me in a way where. And I'm not a dumb guy. I think I can figure out shit pretty quick. So a lot of these coins are bullshit, but are they going to last for a while? Yeah, they're there. Right now, they're there. So long term, not so much value. Short term, if you're a smart guy, you can control your emotions. There's a lot of money to be made there. A lot.
That's good to hear from someone like you, who is what I would consider the mature investor, the person already, again, very wealthy, has, you said in your video, has deep pockets, and you're looking to invest. Now,
Can I?
we had a conversation before. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, we had a conversation before where you asked me, what do you think these people do, or we talked about what do people do with these with the Bitcoin that I sell to people, and you had a view on it. Please explain what you think people use Bitcoin for.
Well, I go to a local ATM. It's about a couple miles from my house. He has a Bitcoin ATM. So when I go there, there's people, because I take a while, because I buy a lot, people stand behind me and they'll start asking me questions, like, "Oh yeah, what do you do? You use it to make money, whatever." So then of course I'm going to ask them, "What do you do?" They're like, "Oh, I'll buy $50 and, I use it for the deep web." So I'm like, "So what do you think of the technology?" They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like the blockchain. What is that? So I got my perspective on a lot of the people that actually do buy Bitcoin. Most of them are using it to go buy. To them, it's a PayPal for the deep web. That's all they know. They don't know what a blockchain is. They don't know how that it's being mined. They don't know. They don't even know it goes up and down. I bet you. They just know that in order to go on the deep web and buy this, they need 0.0056 Bitcoin. So we need to. And what I think my channel and your channel is meant for is to open up to these people that it's more than just go on the deep web and buy whatever you're gonna buy or whatever service. And not all deep web stuff is bad, but it keeps them off the streets. Like Andreas once said, Andreas Arnopoulos, he goes, I don't need to be under a threat of a gun if I have a drug addiction, which I think is a great thing. If I have a drug addiction, why do I have to be under a threat to get shot, robbed, or whatever, and go to the streets when I could just go on the dark web or whatever and do that? I don't mess with that stuff, thank God. But the people that, and I, to me, by the way, Drug addiction is absolutely not a crime. Drug addiction is a disease. It is something that needs to be dealt with. And I talk about it a lot, especially pill popping. I've had relatives that I've had to deal with when it comes to the pills, and I think it's destroying our fucking country, and putting them in jail is not going to fix nothing. Anyway, back to my point. So I think we need to just do more teaching and explain to people what the blockchain is, what Bitcoin really is, and why he should be saving them instead of wasting them on the deep web.
Well, I agree with you eventually in spirit, Ozzy. But you know, I have to admit, the people that I interact with and I trade with on a peer-to-peer level, uh, they seem to want Bitcoin as a payment. Okay, they
Yeah,
just come to me. They can't go. They can't. Western Union will not send their money, and so they're using Bitcoin as a payment method to somebody, either whatever it be, the dark web, to the grandma, to somebody in some other country. For me, it doesn't really matter because I have it,
right.
and there's just a market demand for it,
You're a
and I'm
business.
just
You're a
kind of just
business.
taking advantage. Well, I'm arbitraring. I'm using arbitrage. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
buying at from my miner who wants to
Mm-hmm.
cash out, and then I put myself out there. You know, I put myself out there, put my name out there, put my, you know, I go out there and I meet these people.
Yeah.
Now, what do they do? Sometimes I ask them. I really do. I kind of am curious. After a while, you get curious, and I say, "What do you do?" They never say I'm buying drugs on the internet, or
Right.
I'm sending money to a terrorist organization. The most they ever tell me is that they're trying to buy something, or they're paying somebody,
Well,
and that's about all they want to tell me.
James, I have to note something, brother. The ATM that I go to is in probably the worst area you can imagine. So the element of people there is a very challenged area. So keep that in mind. I'm not running. This ATM machine is not in Beverly Hills. It's in a very bad area. So I don't expect to meet investors and uh, uh, um, and the type of people I would like to meet. Most of the guys there are not, didn't drive from the better part of area to, so I'm not going to get a chance to meet the right. That's why they're all, because of the where that ATM is in a bad spot. And I even talked to the owner of that ATM. I said, you know what, man, my dealership is about 3 miles north from it. It's a lot better area, lot more money in that area. I said, why don't you move it to my dealership? We open late. It's there every day. I'll charge you less rent than they are charging you. I try to work with him, but he's no, I'm happy the way it is. Like, okay.
Well, I'll tell you, the people I meet, they're all different spectrum. All right, I'm mostly men. They are mostly men though. But yeah, they have no clue. For the most part, they have no clue what Bitcoin is, how it works. They just know that if they buy it and I give it to them on their phone, they can send it. That's about the most they know about it. All they know is they need to get it, and it needs they need to send it. Sometimes they don't even have a wallet, which is kind of surprising to me. Well, maybe not
So
surprising.
what do you do
They'll
in
just
that
buy it.
case?
They don't really have a wallet, so there's nothing you can do. But they do have an address. All right, they have an
Ah,
address where they want it to be sent to. So I don't think it's their wallet because it's just a picture of an address.
so you're
Now it could be a
probably sending it
it could be a wallet.
straight to their seller. There's a chance you
Straight
could.
straight to their drug dealer, right? Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
In any case, I have to send it to somewhere, right? I just can't hold these bitcoins for them.
Have you thought about
Just have a
carrying?
picture of a QR code, and I'm like, okay, that's
Have
your
you
that's your wallet, fine.
have you thought about
You know,
carrying some paper ones?
have I
About
thought about
printing
what?
carrying some paper wallets and just filling it up and give it to them?
Well, I guess I could, but there's no point because they're giving me an address key to send to.
Mm.
So that's
So
just where I send it. I mean, they don't
how
even
do
have to have. Sometimes
how
they
do
don't. They're not even smart.
how do they
I'm
verify it
telling you,
was
some of these
sent?
people are not. Well, I guess they don't. Either they look it up on the internet. Uh, this is what I do when I meet someone who has. What I'll do is I'll scan the QR code. I'll send the amount that they want to them on my smartphone, the address key, and it'll show the coins were sent. It'll show as unconfirmed, but that's how I say, okay, it's sent.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
they may not be smart enough to actually have a wallet, but they're smart enough to take a picture of a QR code.
yeah.
So there's some situations where some of these people they're not that smart,
No,
literally. And
no.
other situations, I meet people who who are literally rocket scientists, right? They're literally rocket scientists, okay?
Yeah. See,
And so,
those are the guys I want to meet. Those are the guys I want to sit and talk Bitcoin with. I wish I could meet some of them when I go to that ATM.
well, they're all different space. Some are really techie, some are straight ghetto. I mean, I've
Yeah,
met them all, almost all.
yeah.
I've met, I would say one or two women. So
Really?
that's kind of unique. Finding someone who trades or handles Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency that's a woman, it's like finding a unicorn. It really is.
I wanted to ask you something. Are you done asking me, or do you want to let me ask a few, then you can come back and ask me, take turns?
No, yeah, go ahead. Go.
Okay.
This is open. This is open.
Okay.
And anybody
Awesome.
in the chat that wants to ask a question
Yeah. Please
can
feel free, guys.
ask a chat, either me or Ozzy or Ozmi.
I'm not able to see the chat for some reason, so if you get a question, please, James, let me know so I can help answer it. Uh, I wanted to ask you a
Okay.
question. Let's get back to the peer-to-peer. Now, when I originally wanted to buy my $12,000 worth, or my 10 Bitcoin, I went on Craigslist, but I couldn't get the balls to go meet this guy or this girl or whoever it was in a public place and do the exchange. How can we overcome that, or how can we make that a safer, or not safer, but make people feel a little bit safer? What do you think we need to do?
Well, one of the things that I've done is I set up. Um, I use my attorney, like when I was talking to you, the one in Anaheim.
Very smart. Very
I
smart.
have an office set up in a very nice area, just for someone just like you, Osme, believe it or not, who and is right next to a Charles Schwab building. It's right next to Anaheim Stadium. You're gonna love it. It's like
Very
10 minutes
smart.
away from Disneyland.
I
You want to
actually,
take your kids to Disneyland, you can do that. But my original thoughts were people would come all over the world and want to go to Disneyland. One of the reasons why I picked that location, and if they have Bitcoins, I would buy it from them, and they could spend, you know, I would buy whatever. There's no limit. When you trade peer to peer, there's absolutely no limit on dollar amount that we can trade. We can trade 100. I don't know about a million. I never had anybody come to a million because I only accept cash. But you can do any amount that you want, and it's basically it's in a safe area. My attorney acts as an escrow, and you provide him the cash. He would count it, verify it, and here's the beautiful part is I don't have to be there.
no.
I could be, in Texas. I could be in Canada. I could be in Europe. Long as I call them or I text them or they email me. I usually call and verify as well.
So he'll
Osme gave us 100,000. I would send you $100,000 worth of Bitcoin.
and I would see it in my wallet right before I left the office.
Yeah, you can stay as long as you want, but usually it'll get unconfirmed, but
Oh yeah,
depending on the
that's
network
all.
congestion. But once once it's there. But the nice thing is that it's legitimate back because there's a physical place for you to come back. It's not like a seat at Starbucks where
not just that.
The guy's gone.
Let me tell you, it's funny that you mentioned lawyer because 99% of the United States is so broke they probably never deal with a lawyer. That's unfortunate. Our middle class has disappeared. But I got sent some questions about AVF for value. Some shit about you paying off your house or your car or your stuff with a promissory note. A for V or something like that. It's a pile of shit. So anyway, so I'm gonna do a video about it. I actually contacted a lawyer friend of mine who's actually one of the coolest guys in the world, and he happens to be a lawyer at the same time. And I asked him about it. I said, yada yada. He goes, believe it or not, he gets called about it every time somebody watches it on YouTube. Somebody will call him and ask him, hey, I want to do this. And he laughs at him. And anybody who thinks they're going to get out of paying a house or a car because they have a social security number is out of their fucking mind. So when you walk into a lawyer's office and you see his license on the wall, I feel great handing you 10 grand. I feel awesome. I'm relaxed. I'm not worried. I'm not, that's a very smart move, James. I got to hand it to you, man. Very smart. And then, he's probably getting a little cut out of it. Beautiful setup, man. I got to hand it to you. When I see something smart, man, I got to give credit where credit's due. I love to see smart. I love that. Intelligence. We're running out of it. The fucking world's running out of it because we're poisoned to death from the fucking TV and the internet and the bullshit that's fucking everywhere. So good move, man. Thumbs up. And I will be buying from you this week, I promise.
Oh, well, thank you, Ozzy. And another thing is, if you don't have a setup like that, or if you're buying from someone or selling to someone who doesn't have a setup like that, I recommend that you get a gun and you have it on you when you do the transaction.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Bitcoin shouldn't involve weapons. That's not what I'm trying to get at. Bitcoin should not involve weapons. Should not involve threat. I shouldn't have to be worried at all when I'm buying Bitcoin. But the people, the scammers, the thieves, they have just infested this fucking space and made it ridiculous. Like, why should I have to spend $150 on a Trezor just to secure my Bitcoin? That's ridiculous. I mean, even though I suggest everybody buy one, but you shouldn't have to. I mean, we live in a world where scamming is the first thing on everybody's list. It's ridiculous. Yesterday I watched a show about I can't remember his name, how he got hacked. They actually stole his whole phone line. Like, they called the company, switched the phone to a whole nother phone, and this guy didn't even fucking know until he tried to use his phone and it didn't work. Like, they're getting.
Ozzy, we got a question here, and I think it's worth asking. I guess he's asking for you and me. Okay. Brian McLaughlin asked, how do each of you handle Bitcoin-related taxes?
Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, we were just talking about that right before the show started. Listen, if you want Bitcoin to be adopted, recognized, legitimized throughout the world, especially the United States, you have to pay your taxes. You have to give the government their cut. So, me, every penny I made on Bitcoin, I will absolutely be filing on my taxes. So, now the Bitcoin I bought last year, I had bought, remember I told you guys a couple hundred, was still a couple hundred on after the year ended. So I didn't do nothing that involved that. And so, but now I've made a lot of money. So when the tax time comes, I will absolutely add another line that will specifically say, now this line is not on your tax forms. So you have to add an additional line that says Bitcoin income, miscellaneous income from a Bitcoin investment I made, yada, yada, yada. And actually, if you want to do it even more right, which I will be because I have a lot to lose. I own 6 successful companies. I don't want to have any threat on. So I will actually have my bank statements that I go through because I buy and sell through Coinbase, and everything shows there. And I'm in a high bracket, so I'll be paying like 30% of the profit back to them, which is fine with me, no problem. When you understand the game and how it's played, it's fine. So I absolutely agree with paying your taxes if you've made the money. Only if you've made the money, of course. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I try to maximize on as deductions and my losses to pay the least amount of taxes, which would hopefully be zero, or even better yet, take a maybe even take a loss, because I reinvest literally everything that I do
Oh yeah.
in new ventures to the point where I actually don't receive any money, or I just hold it in Bitcoin.
Well, my accountant.
So I never realized the money.
That's excellent. I'm not. But show all that. Show all that. Put it in writing and show it to them. It's okay because you don't want to get late. Like for example, my accountant, when tax time comes, like for example, a couple of years ago, I made a bunch of money on some stock. It was beautiful. I showed it to her. I said, "Is there any way we can cut some of this down?" I mean, it was a nice amount. She goes, "You'd have to buy a similar stock." So, which means, like, let's say I bought Citibank and it went up. I have to buy stock in with that profit in a bank. It has to be a bank type stock, and I can get rid of that capital gain tax. So, if there's ways, which there, I mean, I got to talk to my accountant because I don't know. But if she tells me, hey, listen, go buy another 20,000 of some altcoin, we can save some money here and there. I'm going to. I'm not saying don't find a way out of it. I'm just saying keep it legit. That's it.
All right, Osmi, we have another question here. I think we already answered. Sandy, what exactly is Bitcoin used for? And I think we already answered that, and I'll just go over it real quick.
Go ahead.
Bitcoin is used to buy drugs off the deep web. I think that's one of your one of your answers.
Yeah.
I think that people are using it to make payments.
Yeah, it's just like
And
cash.
so there,
Just like cash.
there is cash. The only difference is they've been censored in using in making their payments. That's the only difference. A lot of people come to me saying they tried to send money through Western Union or MoneyGram, and then they get rejected, or their money comes back and returned to them. And so they're looking for another option. And so that's the first use case that I think really Bitcoin, other than buying drugs on the internet or paying for terrorists or paying for assassination,
You know
I mean,
what?
all those other things. But other than that, sending money to one person to another was its original intent to be used for.
I don't really think. This is my personal opinion. I don't really think that terrorism and hitmen and stuff like that is really a Bitcoin is good for that. I really don't, because you got to keep in mind Bitcoin is not anonymous. The blockchain is not anonymous. So I don't know. I don't think those people with the fucking beards and the Allahu Akbar fucking terrorists even know how to use a Bitcoin wallet. I mean, I don't think I don't know. I just don't see it. It's possible. I don't know, but I think it's more deep web maybe for like you said, drugs, but not anymore. Now keep in mind, Japan has legalized it. 1,000 businesses in Japan will be using it for currency, just like a Visa, MasterCard, cash, whatever.
Point. And let me go over some of the chat here.
Go ahead.
and see what they're saying. Richie Rich, thank you, Richie Rich, for watching. Richie Rich says, not a question, but he says Bitcoin can be super, right? And I do agree with him to some degree, because I don't know if you know about this, but you can mix the coins. That's the first thing. The second thing you can do is you can actually jump, come back to Bitcoin. Did you know about that?
I'm sorry. You know what? You cut off. I can't. I didn't understand the question really well.
Okay, let me try. Richard Rich was saying that Bitcoin can be super anonymous. There's coin mixing, and then there's also jumping blockchains. So what you do is you trade, like you could use a Shapeshift, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You trade Bitcoin for another cryptocurrency, and then
Right.
blockchain jumping,
right,
and then come back to Bitcoin again, and then you got a whole fresh set of Bitcoins untraced.
Right. You know, the reason why I mean, like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I don't really do anything illegal, thank God. So that's probably why I don't know much about that part. But like I said, you know, to me, you know, I mean, you know, I guess it is possible to do that. Like you said, you know, that you would get a fresh chain if you were to like go to the exchange, buy. But then the exchange has the records of that transaction. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is. I mean, Dash has something in there where it'll secret it somehow, like do a bunch of different transactions before the actual transaction. So, I mean, there's. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to hide your transaction, but I see the future of Bitcoin as something else. I see it as big corporations and governments using it instead of currency in the future. That's what I see it. I don't see it as terrorists and drugs. I don't. Right now, maybe, but later I don't. Got to keep in mind, guys, when cars came out, the criminals were the first to buy them. When cell phones came out, criminals were the first to buy them.
All right, awesome. So, what else did you want to talk about, Ozzy? I know we talked about a lot before the show, and we kind of covered that right now. Is there anybody in the audience or in the chat that wants to ask any more questions for me or Ozzy?
You guys can ask about anything. It doesn't have to be cryptocurrency, by the way. We're heavy. I mean, I'm heavy into politics. Like right now, most recently, I've been talking about the Trump in the mainstream media a lot. It's become a joke. I'm heavy into the car industry and the auto insurance industry. Um, what else? I kind of stopped doing stocks. It's not for me. It's not for me.
All right, Ozzy. Before we're almost coming up to an hour.
Okay.
I want you to tell the viewers and everybody a little bit about you. Like, I know you own some businesses. Tell them how many businesses you own and what type they are.
Okay. Here, let me you want me to just tell the story? I like telling the story. So I came to this country a long time ago. We owned a liquor store. My dad owned a liquor store for a long time. My mom got shot in it about 16 years ago, 17 years ago. And actually, I'm sorry, 22 years ago. And so we lost that business, and we lived broke for a long time. And then I married this girl, the most amazing fucking woman in the world. And she just turned me into the most ambitious guy. And I started working at an insurance agency. Within 8 months, I had opened up my own insurance agency, which is we're a broker, middleman. We between the customer and the company, and we connect them, and we make a commission from each. So then I expanded that into multiple locations, and then we added DMV service. We added income tax service. We could do your taxes, um, and then you can get your car registered, etc. And then I decided, I had that the insurance is moving more online, so I stopped expanding that, and I decided that I wanted to own a finance company. I wanted to give out loans, so I thought the best way to do that was to minimize the risk. So I opened up a car dealership and decided to carry the loans. So and to my surprise, I opened up the sickest location. I mean, this location is just, I mean, it's right next to an In-N-Out. I don't know if you guys know what In-N-Out is, but it's our number one hamburger chain. And they only have the best location. So I got real lucky with the location. And we did 300 cars our first year, which is extremely, extremely over what I expected. My math was at 100 cars. We did 300. So we did exceptionally well. And we're averaging right now about 500 cars a year. So, and that's that's big big numbers for anybody who's in the car business. So that turned out to be my number one business now out of all the ones I own is the finance company, which they make their payments directly to me. I charge the interest, I carry the loan, I do everything. um, and it just I've been in business since March of 2003, and I never had a losing month since the day I opened, which is unheard of, thank God. And all that credit I give to my wife, because she was like, she doesn't care if we lived in a two-bedroom apartment. She doesn't care if she has to walk. Like, she just supported me, and the risks I took would would take us back 50 years. I mean, we would be in the streets if one of them failed. The kind of risks I took. I'm a real ballsy when it comes to business. I go all out. If an average dealership costs 100,000 to open, I use 200,000. I believe in it takes a lot of money to make money, and thank God, and with my wife's support and seeing my kids every day, watching them grow, I was able to build my company, and my whole company has one name. It's all one name. It's got a badass little symbol logo. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not ready to divulge that yet, but maybe one day. And really, that's my story, man. And I invest in. I have properties, apartment, you name it, I'm in it, man. I'm into everything. Uh, and I believe into spreading the don't put all your eggs in one basket ever in your life. If you can make $1 in 5 different places, it's better than making $10 in one place. Um, and I do something that's very important is my community. My community is the most important thing in the world to me, besides my wife and kids. My community is what made me the man I am today, and I do a lot of payback to them. So they get a lot of love from me, and I'm very very loved here and known here in my area, and I just appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate them. And in closing, I just want to say something to all the viewers. Uh, Goals by itself will do nothing for you. If you just have goals, they're a waste. If you don't have if you have the will, like if you go to work every day, and that's useless too. You have to put your goals and your will, and you got to put them together, and then use that force, and then that becomes ambition. Those two together, they make ambition, and that's what will get you to where you want to go. But just working hard every day is not enough, and having goals by itself is not hard enough. You need to combine them and do lots and lots of homework. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, thank you, Ozzy. Appreciate it. Hopefully
Thank you,
we'll
man.
we'll chat again. and hopefully we'll meet face to face in
I hope so,
person.
man. I hope so. You
I
sound
know
like a great
someone
guy.
in the audience. And I'll say his name because he's my little troll bitch. His name is Cuntball. He asked me why don't I ever show my face. Well,
You,
I don't have a camera on my computer, and also I do believe that some of the things I do want to be anonymous about it. Not not that because I'm afraid someone knows who I am. It's just that I could just be free to do things in the real world. And I don't know if you've seen some of my videos, but I travel a lot. And what's ironic is I might have met some of these YouTubers in person, and they've never realized that they've met me,
can
which
I
is a
give you
bizarre thing.
can I give you my opinion?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, uh, the whole James Bond thing. I love it. If that's what you want to do, man, I love it. It's the whole anonymous James Bond 006, double triple O, whatever. Stay at it, man. It fits you perfect, and you're a cool cat, regardless what you look like, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the reason I actually have the name James Bond, and I'll just tell you for some of the audience who wants to know is my nickname was James when I was younger, and when people would ask me what's my name, I would just say James, and they would say, "Oh, you mean like James Bond?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, why not?" And so when I started my avatar and my YouTube life, my virtual life, I figured, well, why not? Let's do James Bond. Realized I was really gonna do any of this stuff on YouTube, like have a live chat with you in any way. But that's how it is. I don't think of
Hey,
myself as an international spy. I do take it a habit to read people. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah,
I
I
read
do. I do the same.
people's. You do the same,
Oh
and
yeah,
I love doing that. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't put my face out
and
there is because really you do telegraph everything about
oh
you,
yeah,
and
in business,
if
if
you
you
don't
can't
know how
read,
to read people, yeah,
yeah, in business,
I
if
mean, if you don't know how to read people, then you gotta you're hopeless. You're gonna
yeah,
get scammed every time.
absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to ask
So
you something. I know it's off topic, uh, but today somebody put a comment that it was sad that I'm actually promoting my videos and paying to do that. That I would that's sad. Well, why would that be sad? That nobody's paying me and I'm just paying from my pocket to promote my videos. Why would that be sad? Does that make sense, or am I doing something wrong by promoting my video if I want to build an audience? Is that
what was the question?
okay? So I promote my videos on YouTube. I actually pay the AdWords to promote them. And so somebody saw that and called it sad on one of the comments that I do that.
Well, I don't think so because that's what a lot of YouTubers do.
I mean,
They pay
how else am
they
I gonna?
pay the
YouTube is
about
not
for
gonna
bills, or you don't know your channel.
no my channel. I mean, YouTube's not gonna put me on everybody's feed unless I pay them, and nobody's gonna see me. It's gonna take forever if I don't pay. So if I do it 100% organically, it's gonna take me years to build an audience where I can spend a little bit of money now and speed up that process. Nobody's forced to subscribe. I mean, obviously, if they don't like me, they're not going to subscribe. So I don't see why that would be sad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. It's not. It's perspective. I actually don't do that because I'm too cheap. And I figured, well, who's really gonna subscribe to me is what I was thinking. So I was like, screw it. You know, they want to subscribe,
well,
listen to me rant all day. Oh, that's fine. But
you got a lot of
some people are like
subscribers.
that. I just started making stupid little videos on how to fix up your house and how you use tools, and now I've gone up to getting Bitcoin. But I know there's a lot of people out there they do pay, and you know it's a marketing plan. That's all it is. I didn't
You know,
do
just
this for
because.
marketing.
Yeah, I mean, I have.
People want to pay. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
mean,
I'm
I'm
okay
not.
with it.
I have the money. I don't see why that would be sad. I just got offended off that. I didn't really answer him, but by the way, I have a Harbor Freight across the street from my house. I love it.
All right, I'm definitely gonna come over to your house now.
Oh
So
man,
I'm gonna fix your house for you.
I swear it's like less than a mile away, man. It's awesome. It's a great little place. They're not that cheap, man. Their stuff is not, it's cheap priced, but their equipment is not. It's not cheapy shit. It's actually it works a long time. A lot of stuff I bought from there I've had for years, man.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the other reasons why I did start making videos on Harbor Freight, because I would look into it, because I never heard of Harbor Freight, and I would watch all these YouTube videos about how bad Harbor Freight was. So I said, well, let me give it a try, and then it worked, and it was
Well,
kind of weird. So
let me
there's a lot of fun going on out there too.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you're gonna go, like for example, a chainsaw, okay? I bought it from them for $50. If it breaks 10 times in the next 10 years, it's still cheaper than getting a fucking $500-$600 one from Home Depot. For the amount of
Yeah,
times
yeah, I agree.
I use it. I don't use it that often, you know. So okay, let it break down every year. Who gives a fuck? It's still cheaper than going to give them $600. You know, it really just depends on you and how often you use the thing. But so far, Harbor Freight, oh man, metal's metal, brother. Metal's metal. Steel is steel. I don't give a shit.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, I think we're gonna conclude this live stream. I think it was a pretty good live stream. I'll
It
work
was
on the
awesome.
connection,
Thank you so much, man. This
and
has been great. My first one, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
yeah, I'm gonna have to call the internet company and try to see what I can do about my upload speed. My upload speed sucks, but we'll try to do this maybe once a week or twice a week, or not twice a week, but every 2 weeks or something. We'll talk. We'll
I'm
talk.
ready
I have you.
anytime.
Awesome. All right, so this concludes this episode. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for the chat. And until next time, stay tuned. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.